start off with a question. Hands up who's been watching the latest David Attenborough series, The Green Planet. Quite a number. It's really impressive, isn't it? The way they use the latest time-lapse photography to give us this previously unseen insight into our beautiful, precious, fragile world and all the amazing things that connect one thing with another. But while it's awe-inspiring, it also has a tinge of sadness, certainly for me, that much of what it reveals is in a particularly fragile situation now. I think, for instance, of the giant redwoods of California, which have taken thousands of years to reach their present magisterial height, and now, in the last decade, have been really suffering from the impact of man-made climate change. People all over the world are waking up to the scale and the urgency of the climate crisis. But I think for Christians, there is a particular sense of responsibility and calling. How can we say we love the Lord our God with all our heart and soul and mind and strength if we do not also honour and care for the gift of this beautiful planet which he gave us to live on? What can we do? How can we make any difference in our own small corner of the earth? How can we be salt and light in our own particular local area and help reverse the trends of species and habitat destruction? Well, Eco-Church gives us a structure and a framework in which to take small, practical steps to improve our choices and our behaviours for the sake of the planet, and the opportunity to develop an ongoing relationship with many hundreds of other churches up and down the country that are on the same journey. So this morning I want to talk to you about Eco-Church, what it's all about, and how you might get involved. Why today? Well, two reasons really. One is that just a few weeks ago we received the prestigious Bronze Award. So we want to celebrate that, and we want to give thanks for all the hard work of many people across the whole church family who helped us to achieve that. But that is just the start. Today also marks the beginning of the journey to silver. And of course, as you progress along the road, it becomes more and more challenging. So that journey won't be possible without the help and support of more and more people in all sorts of different ways. How, I wonder, might you get involved? What are the particular gifts and talents and enthusiasms that you possess that you might be able to bring to the table? So one of the things that we're asking you to do today is to take the form that you received when you came in, and after the service to fill that in, and please put it in the red bucket by the door as you go out. It's a way of helping us to get an idea of who is interested in what. Don't worry, you're not signing your life away, you're just expressing an interest in certain areas, and then it gives us a means of keeping you up to date and keeping in touch with you about what we are doing. After the service, please look at the display boards that Sean has created, which give you a bit more of a flavour of the different aspects of the Eco-Church programme. Before I go into detail about Eco-Church, I want to emphasise that this isn't just a tokenistic add-on affair borrowed from the secular world. This is a programme that is rooted in the Christian faith. And it's a programme that allows us, as Christians, to put our faith into action, caring for God's creation and all the life that it sustains. And in this, our gospel story today seems particularly relevant. It's a fascinating two-stage affair. On the one hand, utterly sublime and transcendent, and on the other, utterly down to earth and messy. First, we have the transfiguration of Jesus on the top of a mountain, and then the next day, the healing of an epileptic boy down on the plain. One moment, Jesus is being bathed in heavenly light, and the next, he's getting his sleeves rolled up and getting stuck in with life in all its grittiness and pain. But the one is not possible without the other. That feels to me like a good model to bear in mind. It illustrates, I think, that everything we do must be rooted in the energizing power of God and his Holy Spirit. So it's no good staying up there on the mountain. We need to come down, roll up our sleeves, and get stuck in. And in a practical sense, Eco-Church allows us to do just that. So what's it all about? Well, there are 5 key areas. Our buildings, our land, our worship and teaching, our community and global engagement, and our lifestyles. Let's pitch in with that last one because it's something that we've touched on relatively recently with our invitation to adopting this year New Year's resolutions. And it's also very topical because here we are in Fair Trade Fortnight, a time in which we, as consumers, use our collective purchasing power to ensure that the rights of producers, the people who grow and harvest many of our essential items like tea and coffee and sugar and bananas, just to mention a few, that those people are properly recognised and protected and rewarded. It's all about the core Christian value of justice or fairness, as the term fair trade rightly suggests. And that's why we included that in our New Year's resolutions, trying as best we can to buy, according to an acronym, LOAF, which stands for local, organic, animal-friendly, and, of course, fair trade. The other lifestyles that we suggested you might want to adopt were equally important. Those were cycling or walking to church if you could, to help make us all more healthy and fit and also reduce our carbon emissions. And secondly, considering shifting our banks, our bank accounts, our pensions and our savings to ethical institutions that prioritise sustainable and ethical values, actually putting our money in a place where it is having a good effect, actually bringing on the kingdom, and also shifting to a green energy supplier. So that's lifestyles. Now let's have a look at buildings. First of all, it means thinking about energy efficiency. Some of these are measures like switching to a green energy supplier and installing LED lighting we have already achieved. Other things we can achieve in the near future, like draft proofing and insulation. And some others will be more difficult and are something for the medium to longer term. Those are things like installing renewable energy generation. But since heating and lighting are the main sources of our CO2 emission, these are things we need to think seriously about if we are really going to try and reduce our carbon footprint. Next up is land. For the sake of preserving and protecting nature, the management of our land is another vitally important topic. Here in the UK, we are in one of the most nature-depleted countries in the whole world. So there is an urgent need to work to try and halt that decline and promote increased biodiversity. Here at St Mary's, we are blessed with a large and beautiful churchyard that is home to many species. Thanks to the support and engagement of many people, we are helping that to survive and to flourish. With the planting of trees and sowing of wildflower seed for wildflowers that are particularly good for insects, and recently with the installation of bat boxes and bird boxes. The fourth topic is community and global engagement. That's all about taking those values that are concerned with protecting nature and our environment and applying them more broadly, initially to our local community and then to the wider world. So that means working with local groups like Climate Action Wendover, with our local elected council and with our MP. It means taking our Christian values, our faith, and putting it into action. Campaigning for justice and peace and an end to violence, and for a fairer and more sustainable world, free from the scourge of poverty and the devastating impact of climate change. In practice, it means supporting charities like Christian Aid, with Christian Aid Week, and Tear Fund with toilet twinning, and trying wherever possible to buy products that are ethically sourced, sustainably produced, and fairly traded from our own shop just on the high street. Last and certainly not least is worship and teaching. This is all about strengthening the links between our Christian faith and our care for God's creation. And this isn't just about adding a special Sunday here and there where we think about creation and then forgetting about it for the rest of the year. It's making it a primary concern that is core to everything. Our music and our liturgy, our prayer and our teaching, and all of our decision-making, wherever it takes place, within the ministry team, the standing committee, or the PCC. At its heart, it's about a way of seeing our future as a species and our future as a planet as inextricably entwined. So that, in a nutshell, and a bit of a gallop, is what Eco-Church is all about. 5 key areas of church life and work, and a series of steps to follow to sustain and protect our world and celebrate the love of God expressed to us in the gift to us of that created world. I'd now like to invite you to take 5 minutes to talk together about that, about those 5 topics. So please get into groups of about 4 people and just spend a bit of time sharing and thinking about this question. Which of those 5 areas or more particularly interests you and why? Thank you. Thank you. If I could just bring you back together. I hope that was a useful and productive conversation. Certainly within our group down here at the front, I found it very interesting. And for instance, Nadine was saying that she thought it would be very helpful if we were to learn what are the next specific objectives that we would need to achieve to get to silver. That would be really helpful. So that's a really useful thing to make note of. And it would give us a sort of horizon that we can be sort of progressing towards. As I said at the beginning, this is the beginning of a journey, and from this perspective it may feel like we're looking up at a tall mountain. It could be rather daunting. Certainly the scale of the climate crisis and the need for urgent solutions is a colossal task. The great thing about Eco-Church is that it makes it possible to take small incremental steps and to do that together as a church family and together with many other churches up and down the country who are also on this same journey. And so there's a great sense in which we can learn from other churches about the good practice, the good experiences that they have followed and benefit from those. So empowered and energized by prayer, we can roll up our sleeves and go out and try and make a difference. I'm going to end with a couple of quotes. The first one is contemporary from Greta Thunberg. It's never too late to do as much as we can. And the second quote is dipping back into history, words of George Wesley. Do all the good you can, by all the means you can, in all the ways you can, in all the places you can, at all the times you can, to all the people you can, as long as ever you can. Amen.
Time for notices. There are quite a few. Please bear with me. I will be brief, and I will also draft in Nadine. Tuesday, the 1st of March, is Shrove Tuesday, and there will be a pancake party between 4 and 5. Do people need to let you know in advance, Nadine?
It's full.
It's full. Okay, don't turn up unless you bring your own pancakes. Thank you very much to all who are helping with that. That means that Wednesday is, of course, Ash Wednesday. There will be a service of Holy Communion with imposition of ashes at 8 p.m. here. Thursday morning at 10 o'clock, there's our regular, nice, quiet, reflective Holy Communion service, followed by coffee. There is now a Lent menu, which is a fabulous booklet with loads and loads of stuff in there. If you get the email update, you may have already seen lots of it, but there are copies presumably loitering at the back somewhere. If somebody gives me a thumbs up, thank you, Jackie, yes. Lent books. Nadine, do you want to give us a quick rundown on the Lent books?
The Lent menu looks like this. This is Churches Together, everything that's going on during Lent in Wendover. So, as Sally said, do please pick one up at the back. The books, we have a selection of books. The book we are going to be using as a church is Be Still. This is excellent. As it says, it's a simple guide to quiet times. So that's physically and your mind as well. We are going to be doing on Zoom in the evenings. So watch out the email update for the links for that. The other things are the other books. It's like a juggling act here. The Archbishop of Canterbury's book is Embracing Justice. Again, a really excellent book. These little ones are fantastic to start the day. There's one for young people and adults, and there's another one for children here. And they're a great way to start the day off. There's a very brief Bible verse and then a short reflection and prayer. I'd really encourage you to pick those up as well. And finally, this book is by Andrew Nunn, who's the Dean of Southwark, and it's called The Hour Is Come. And this is amazing, this book, because it takes us through each day of Holy Week. So you might want this to accompany another one, but have a look. There's the table there at the back, and please do see whatever you feel is right for you.
Watch the your